No anthem, no Sunday roar. But when that engine fires up, you can feel the vibe shift immediately. Audi just put their 2026 car on track for a filming day in Barcelona. They had Gabriel Bortoleto and Nico Hülkenberg behind the wheel. And I'm thinking about the weight of this moment. This isn't just a shakedown, it's a statement. It's like walking into a room and silencing everyone without raising your voice. Audi is making their debut as a full factory team, taking over the Sauber structure. And like it or not, this changes the psychological game in the paddock. Now hold on to this contrast, because this is the heartbeat of today's story. Exactly while Audi is out there logging miles and showing progress, Honda just admitted that their engine development for Aston Martin isn't exactly smooth. They made some very direct comments, basically saying, not everything is going well, with issues popping up in multiple areas. And this is where I get interested, because 2026 isn't going to forgive anyone. We're going to see teams that look like geniuses, and teams that look like they showed up late to the Super Bowl. Not because they're not smart, but because of integration, because of lost time you can't get back. Audi is entering as a factory outfit. That means one simple, cruel thing. They can't hide behind the "we're just a small team" excuse anymore. When you put those 4 rings on the livery, the pressure comes standard, right out of the box. But at the same time, that's exactly what makes their debut dangerous for everyone else. Audi isn't here to be a background character. They took a foundation that knows F1 from the inside, committed to a long-term project, and picked 2 drivers that tell 2 completely different stories in the same breath. You've got the rookie hungry to prove he belongs, and the veteran who's seen it all, coming back with a quiet responsibility. Let's talk about Bortoleto. The US audience might just see another rookie, but I love this pick for a specific reason. When you're changing eras, you want a driver who isn't addicted to how things used to be. You want someone who learns fast, someone without a pre-written manual. He's the fresh blood. Then you bring in Hülkenberg. A lot of people treat Hulk like he's just a stat sheet without a podium. But in a new project, he's a tool. He's the guy who gives you the feedback to fix the car without destroying the team's morale from the inside. So Audi, officially, has their lineup for the road to 2026. But here's the part almost nobody wants to face. Being a factory team is a gold mine and a trap in the same package. Money and infrastructure help, sure. But they also create rush, politics, and that anxiety of, we need to justify this investment right now. That's how you end up digging in 5 different places and finding no gold. That's why I don't look at this Barcelona filming day and think, oh, they're all set. I look at it as, okay, they're doing the basics early. And early, with new regulations, is currency. It's not glamour. It's spreadsheets, sensors, data, and boring meetings. It's the kind of advantage that doesn't go viral on TikTok until it wins races. Now, cut to Aston Martin and Honda. The mood changes here. Aston went all in on this partnership. And Honda, despite their massive legacy in F1, is facing a new engine for a new era. And they're the ones admitting it's tough, that things aren't moving the way they should. You might say, well, every manufacturer says that. Not really. Some hide it. Some kick the can down the road. When a supplier publicly talks about difficulties, I read it 2 ways. 1. Transparency to manage expectations. 2. A silent plea for patience. Because some things only get fixed with bench time and fine-tuning. And time is exactly the resource that vanishes first when the clock starts ticking. Here's a detail that gets me. A slight delay in F1 rarely stays slight. It compounds. Because the problem isn't just building the engine, it's making the engine talk to the car. It's cooling, it's packaging, it's software. It's how the driver feels the power delivery. One gear slips, and the whole system feels it. And 2026 changes the math on what makes a car fast. You don't win just with aero. You don't win just with horsepower. You win with a package that has no drama. And that stability comes from smooth development. Now, I'm not saying Aston Martin is doomed. Calm down. I'm saying Honda acknowledging the struggle changes the temperature in the room. Aston didn't pick Honda to be okay. They picked them to make a leap. And a leap requires an engine that delivers on its promise, on time. So back to Audi. They're out there spinning laps, showing the gears are turning. The headlines are saying they're the first to put a 2026 mule on track this year. You can argue about the technicalities of first, but the message is there. We are putting rubber on asphalt. What does this mean for us, the fans trying to read the board? It means 2026 is going to be the year where the manufacturer conversation comes back with real force. And I like that. It brings back that old-school pride. Pride makes people work late. But pride also makes people make mistakes trying to prove a point. And here is my retention hook. Keep this question in your head while you listen to the rest. Who is in more danger for 2026? The brand new project arriving with fresh energy and no scars, or the ambitious project that built up too much hype before delivering? Keep that in mind. I'm coming back to it, and I won't sugarcoat it. First, let's look at Bortoleto without the romance. Audi announced him, and that puts a giant spotlight on the kid. He's going to live that mix. Every camera is looking for a rookie mistake, but every good lap becomes, imagine when he has a real car. But a factory debut environment is heavier than it looks. It's not just driving, it's building. It's answering questions that don't have answers yet. It's walking into a room where everyone is nervous, but nobody wants to admit it. That's where Hülkenberg acts as the emotional shock absorber. He's the guy who doesn't get lost in the noise, and noise is exactly what you get when a team becomes Audi. Now back to Honda. Their point isn't just, we're late. Their point is, we are fighting this. For a supplier, admitting that the new regs are taking a toll is big. If you're an Aston fan, you have two emotional options. Option 1, pretend you didn't hear it and say, there's time. Option 2, face it and say, okay, if it's hard now, better to be hard now than in March, with a finished car and an engine that betrays you. Here's what bothers me when I see these news stories side by side. It feels like Audi is controlling the narrative, and Honda is chasing it. And narrative in this sport becomes reality, because it changes how a team works. A team that feels in control tests calmly. A team that feels like they're catching up starts taking shortcuts. And shortcuts in engine development usually charge interest. High interest. So remember that question I asked? Who suffers more? I think the new project suffers less in the beginning than we imagine. Because everyone tolerates mistakes from the new guy. Oh, it's their debut. Oh, it's just adjustments. That gives them breathing room. Audi can start mid-pack and call it progress. Aston doesn't have that luxury. Aston enters 2026 with the talk of new facilities, massive investment, big partnerships. If Honda underdelivers, the noise becomes a tsunami. And when the noise gets loud, the driver feels it. The engineer feels it. The team principal feels it. The garage becomes a room full of people trying to prove themselves, and that gets exhausting fast. But Audi has a huge risk too. They can fall in love with their own brand. It happens. The project starts believing too much in the PowerPoints, in the press releases, in the "we are Audi, we will fix it" mentality. F1 is a machine that humbles big brands without apologizing. We've seen it before. You can't just walk in with a customized suit if you don't know how to dance to the rhythm of the grid. So in my read, 2026 is going to have two main tensions. Audi trying to become the team they promised to be, and Aston trying to survive their own massive ambition, while Honda admits they're grinding through the gears. And there is a tasty detail in all of this. especially for those of us who love the behind-the-scenes drama. These confessions and these first tests are just the start of the mind games. When Audi shows the car on track, they calm their own team down. When Honda says it's tough, they are preparing the ground to explain any stumble. It's not necessarily manipulation. It's expectation management. But expectation in F1 is fuel. Inject too much, and the engine blows. Inject too little, and the car doesn't even move. I want to leave you with an image I can't get out of my head. On one side, a car doing quiet, lonely laps in Barcelona. No crowd, just the factory watching and feeling that pride. On the other side, a giant supplier admitting difficulty in many areas, and you can just imagine the tension in the back of that room. Someone clenching their jaw, thinking, "We need to turn this page." Who turns pressure into performance? Tell me in the comments, and don't be diplomatic. Do you think Audi arrives in 2026 already scaring the midfield? Or does Honda flip the script in time to put Aston on the map for real? And hey, send this video to that friend who swears big manufacturers never fail. I want to see them defend that with Honda saying things aren't fine.